Hello, I'm Daniel. I am going to give a talk today from the 37 practices of a bodhisattva, and it's a thing I've been doing. And I'm going to give a talk from this text, and then I'm going to comment on it. A bodhisattva is one who is trying to unleash their full potential, one who is trying to live in a more awakened and compassionate and wise way. That's what we are, because we're trying. We say we are bodhisattvas, or we're aspiring bodhisattvas. So this passage is called the mediocre path. I don't like that. I'm going to change it. This passage is called Happiness is like a Dewdrop. And I'm going to read it to you now. The happiness of the three realms is like a dewdrop on the tip of a blade of grass. It perishes by itself from one instant to the next. Hence, it is the practice of a bodhisattva, to strive for the supreme level of liberation, always unchanging. Now, so what we're talking about here is this. We're talking about if we had this attitude, well, life is the way it is. Why don't I just chase after instant pleasure all the time and forget everybody else? Why don't I just live that way? If one has that attitude, that's what this is talking about. The text is saying, happiness is like a dewdrop on a blade of grass. That is, we get pleasure from something and it lasts a minute, a few minutes, and then it's gone. So happiness, so a lot of the things we take joy in life are very fleeting. Very fleeting. And we could get obsessed with instant pleasure, or we could recognize that it's fleeting. We get ourselves into a lot of trouble chasing it. And ultimately, there is a sort of general happiness and wellness we can work toward, instead of just eating the whole bowl of ice cream. So whatever measure of happiness we find in life is really fleeting, and it can be gone any moment, like a dewdrop. It can just come and go really fast. And that's an important thing to think about. So I think about equanimity when I think about this. Equanimity is learning to weather the storm of life. And usually people take that to be about the bad things, about like keeping an even mind when things are going really bad and not falling apart when things are going really bad. But it also works the other way. It's also about keeping an even mind when we're excited about something, when we're chasing after joys in life and pleasures. So that's sort of what we're talking about here. It's about recognizing that a lot of the things we take comfort in are fleeting, like food, like other people, like video games, whatever we take pleasure in, it's fleeting, it's going to go. And when we think about that, then we can think about, well, what are some higher things we can take joy from? What are some higher things? And that is what our spiritual practice is for. It's about sort of learning to be fully present and see the simple things in life that we can just be aware of, that just will bring us a sense of calm and wellness. Just seeing how we're connected to other things and seeing the world more vividly is in itself a different kind of joy. And it's one that's not as fleeting as eating all the ice cream. Eating all the ice cream is really fleeting. It feels really good, and then I'm out of ice cream, right? So so the other thing is, though, we can learn to be mindful. We can learn to be more aware of the world around us and show up for people and be kind to others, and all these things give a kind of a deeper kind of joy. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about, in the text it says, to strive for the supreme level of liberation, always unchanging. That is just living a more mindful life and unleashing your potential. That is where the real joy is. It is, this analogy might fall apart immediately, but it is, don't fight over table scraps when there's a buffet next to you. So what we have is the joy of being fully present right here, of showing up for the people in our lives, of being compassionate and seeing the world in a more clear way. And what we're doing instead is feeding our ego however we can and chasing after every little thing that we think might feel good, when a lot of the time we're wrong also. So that is why we say happiness is like a dewdrop on the tip of a blade of grass, and it perishes from one instant to the next. It is a lot of the things we take so much comfort in just go. And that's sort of part of the suffering of life as well, that we don't like to think about very much. But there's a sense of calm and a sense of well-being that we get to if we have a diligent meditation practice. And we have the ability to strive for that instead of just chasing the next pleasure all the time. The thing about chasing the next pleasure all the time is there's always going to be another one, and we never, ever, ever get to rest. So this was a short one, but that's all I wanted to say for today. There's a deeper sense of well-being that we can get to that's not fleeting like chasing ice cream. There's a deeper sense of well-being, and that's what we're working towards on this Bodhisattva path. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me, and have a good day.